This is the vibration they erased from the memory of the world, a sound not spoken, but remembered, not heard, but felt. You weren't supposed to find this, but you have, and that changes everything. Close your eyes. Breathe, not from the chest deeper, from the origin, from the place inside you where memory and matter meet. They called it the lost vibration because it was too dangerous to preserve in words. It could not be carved in stone or transcribed into scrolls. So it was woven into ritual breath, embedded in ancient syllables, hidden in temple acoustics that mimicked the rhythm of the stars. In Egypt, it was whispered beneath sandstone ceilings. In Vedic chants, it was disguised as repetition. In Tibet, it echoed from the hollow skulls of monks who had already transcended identity. It's not just sound, it's a living frequency, a resonance that remembers who you were before forgetting became survival. Some say it first vibrated from the lips of Thoth, the keeper of balance, whose tongue shaped realities and whose voice carried the geometry of destiny. But it doesn't belong to him. It belongs to you. It always has. Let's speak plainly. The universe doesn't care if you believe this or not. Vibration is not opinion. It's structure. Every thought, every word you speak has an electromagnetic shadow, and some frequencies rearrange those shadows permanently. What you are about to learn is not for the curious. It is for the remembering, the ones who feel the deep itch of awakening in the marrow of their bones. Have you ever entered a room and felt something press against your skin? No sound, no smell, but something heavy, ancient. That is what this vibration feels like. It enters you like a returning king, not asking for permission. You may weep, you may laugh, you may feel a quiet terror, as if all that you knew was just a veil. Because it was. Let me tell you what happened the first time I did it. The breath caught in my throat not out of fear, but out of recognition. I had heard that sound before, not in this life, but elsewhere. As I vibrated the syllable deep into the chest, not the voice, but the source of the voice, it was like a mirror cracked from the inside. I didn't see visions. I didn't float. I collapsed in silence. And in that silence, a memory returned, not a memory of events, but a memory of purpose. The kind of memory that makes you throw away a life that isn't yours. The kind that makes the false fall away like dead skin. That is what you are approaching. Now I offer you the first key. Do not speak. Just breathe. Sit straight. Let the back of your tongue rest. Lower the jaw slightly. Feel the hollow of your chest. Now vibrate the sound ma-ra-hum in 3 long syllables, not aloud, but inwardly. Let your inner voice do the singing. Let the bones of your body receive the sound. Ma-ra-hum. Again, slow. Hold the end of each vibration like you're stretching light itself. If you feel warmth in the spine, if your fingertips tingle, if something aches behind your eyes, you've touched it. Just once is enough. Once can shift your frequency field for years. Once can unbind decades of karmic noise. And if nothing happens, then you are still asleep. Try again, but never force. This is not a spell, it is a returning. There are side effects. You will dream of places you've never seen. You'll know things before they happen. You'll feel both ancient and newborn. Your voice may change. You may crave silence. You may feel the heaviness of grief for the self you thought you were. All of that is normal. It is the sound rewriting your story. If you have begun the vibration, if you felt even the smallest shift, type in the comments, "I have activated the memory. The journey has begun." Your words become part of the field. This is not performance, it's resonance. Every declaration shapes the signal. Type "continue" to receive the next part of the script. The vibration has found you. This is only the beginning. There is a chamber carved into the red cliffs of the east, where no sound should exist, yet the air hums like a held breath. The ancients called this place the Chamber of the Silent Tone. It has no roof, no doors, just a stone basin that vibrates at exactly 111 Hz when touched by nothing at all. Some say the chamber is still out there. Others say it was never a place, but a state, a resonance that forms within you when the body becomes still enough to hear what has always been vibrating beneath the noise. The truth? I have stood in that temple. Not with my feet, with my being. 111 Hertz. It is the frequency of cellular regeneration. Modern science knows it today, used in some hospitals to stimulate healing. But the priests of Egypt knew it long before oscilloscopes and measurement. They didn't just measure it, they became it. Inside that stone chamber, initiates were not allowed to speak for 33 days. Why? Because silence is not the absence of sound, it is the space in which true sound can enter. When I began practicing the 111 vibration ritual, something peculiar happened. I could no longer tolerate certain music. City noise made my skin crawl. And at night, I began to hear the hum. Not from outside, but from inside the bones. It is not a pleasant sound. It is not beautiful. It is true. How to find the temple within? Go into a room. No phone. No talking. Sit. Straight. Let the hands fall onto the knees like leaves on water. Now, do not speak. Not in words. Not even in thoughts. Begin to breathe in 4 parts. Inhale slowly through the nose. 4 seconds. Hold it. 4 seconds. Exhale through the mouth. 6 seconds. Hold the emptiness. 2 seconds. Repeat this 11 times. Then sit in the stillness. And wait. If you're attuned, you'll begin to feel a hum in the room. But the room has not changed. You have. There are warnings. If you continue this practice without preparing the mind, the silence can become unbearable. People report hearing the voices of long-forgotten ancestors. Some recall past lives, whether metaphor or memory. The effect is real, and the most haunting side effect. Your thoughts will begin to speak in another voice. The ancient sages warned about this. The watcher awakens when silence becomes deep enough. Not a spirit, not a demon, but the higher part of yourself that has been watching, always. What does this mean? It means that your inner witness will become active. You'll notice when you lie to yourself. You'll hear your words before you say them. You'll begin to walk through life, as if guided by something just behind your shoulder. It can be disturbing, but it is the beginning of power. If you feel the hum, even faintly, even just the ghost of it, type in the comments. The hum is rising. I hear the silence awaken. Your voice adds energy to the field. Type continue to open the 3rd gate. This is the temple, and you have found its threshold. The ancients believed that every soul has a name that was never spoken, only remembered. Not the name given by your parents, not the name on any document, but the vibrational pattern that belongs to your essence, your core frequency. They said to speak this name aloud would collapse the illusion of time. It would call back every version of you from all timelines, all dimensions. It would burn away false identities like mist in sunlight. But here's the truth. You do not need to speak it. You only need to vibrate it. I remember the moment I first felt it, not as a sound, but as a wave. It happened while chanting alone in the forest, beneath a crooked fig tree older than anything human. The practice had been simple. Asterisk, kneel barefoot on earth. Asterisk, close the eyes. Asterisk, inhale through the mouth, not the nose. Asterisk, exhale in one single tone. Ah, oh, again and again, until the sound stopped feeling like sound and started to feel like recognition. Then suddenly it hit, like something brushing against the inside of my skin, a note I had not sung, yet it was there, and I knew this was my sound. This was my true name, not as a word, but as vibration. You see, in Egypt, initiates were trained not to memorize chants, but to match their resonance. Their teachers would strike a tuning bowl, and they would vibrate the body until their own bones began to sing the same note. In India, this was known as Nada Brahma, the universe is sound, not metaphor. Fact. Each being is a song trapped in matter, waiting to remember the chorus. In Tibet, monks would meditate in caves that amplified their inner tones so they could discover what the stone said back to them. In all of these cultures, the method was different, but the goal was the same: to remember the vibration that knows your real name. Now, here is the practice, but take this seriously. Once you begin, you cannot unfeel what is about to rise. Sit or lie down, close the eyes, and place your right hand over your chest. Breathe in through the nose for 6 seconds. Exhale with this sound, Om Kaira. Let it come from deep in the chest, not the throat. Feel your ribcage vibrate. Do this for 7 repetitions. Then go silent. If the practice is successful, your body will begin to feel alien, like you're inside a suit made of memory. You may see symbols. You may feel heat in the base of your skull. Some feel an emotion they cannot name, a kind of sacred sorrow. This is normal. The sound is loosening the false names you have worn. A warning: if you feel dizzy, disoriented, or emotionally unanchored after this practice, do not panic. It is a sign that the ego's grip has loosened slightly. Drink water. Touch the ground. Thank the sound. Then be silent. Do not repeat it again that day. The ancient name is not a toy, it is a summoning. What happens next? You may begin to hear tones when you are falling asleep. You may dream in a voice that is not your own. You may even begin to hear your own speech, with new awareness, as if someone else is listening from inside. That listener is you, the real you, the one that remembers. If you felt something during this practice, if even a single vibration echoed deeper than expected, type in the comments, "My true sound has awakened. I remember the forgotten name." How? Let your resonance ripple through the field. Type "Continue" to enter the 4th chamber. You are no longer just listening. You are being heard. This is not a mirror you can see with your eyes. It's not glass, not reflection. It is the moment your field begins to echo itself back through emotion, coincidence, memory, and sensation. It's called the mirror of vibrational memory because once it activates, your past does not return as story, it returns as energy. And energy does not lie. In ancient Mesopotamia, priests of the inner sanctum were warned, once the mirror awakens, you will weep for the self you pretended to be, not because it hurts, but because the illusion becomes impossible to maintain. You'll begin to notice strange things. Asterisk. People say the same phrase to you 3 times in one day. Asterisk. A smell from childhood floods you with emotion for no reason. Asterisk. You walk into a space and feel you've been there before, but not in this life. These are not signs you are going crazy. These are signs that your energetic blueprint is aligning with its original frequency. That's the mirror, not showing you your face, but your field. Let me share what happened the day I met my own reflection. It began with a hum in my left ear, quiet, like a memory trying to speak. Then I looked at my hand, and I didn't recognize it. It wasn't fear, it was awe. I realized this was not the body I chose, but the body I accepted. And then the memories came, ones that had no narrative, no words, just textures, sounds, visions of light and sand and stars swirling in concentric spirals. I wept, not from sadness, but from the shock of remembering. This is the danger and the gift of the mirror. You don't just remember your past. You feel the parts of yourself that were buried by conditioning. Here is how to activate the mirror. Do this in the early morning, before the world wakes. Sit cross-legged facing east. Place a bowl of water in front of you. Light a single white candle behind the bowl. Gaze softly into the water, not focusing, just letting your awareness rest. Breathe gently, and in your mind, repeat these words. Show me my sound, hidden in the shape of light. Do not expect a vision. Do not try to see. Allow. Some see ripples form without cause. Some feel a sudden wave of grief. Some hear their own name whispered in the back of the mind but spoken with reverence. Even if nothing happens, the mirror has opened. You may not notice it now, but over the next 7 days, your dreams will begin to change. Watch for one specific thing, a dream where you are being watched, not in fear but in recognition. That is the mirror, now alive in your field. Warnings. This practice can unlock unresolved emotional charges. Memories you have hidden may surface, not to harm you, but to be released. Do not suppress. Do not distract. Let them rise. Feel them. Breathe them out. Because on the other side of emotional release is energetic alignment. One more thing. The ancients taught that once the mirror awakens, you begin to reflect others as well. People may feel strangely exposed around you. Some will draw closer. Others will avoid you. Do not chase. Do not explain. Your energy is now a mirror for the hidden. Let it be. If this practice stirred anything within you, if you saw, felt, or remembered anything that didn't make sense but felt realer than real, type in the comments. The mirror has opened. I remember through vibration. Let your presence be recorded in the field. Type continue to descend into the fifth frequency. Because once you remember your reflection, you're ready to meet your origin. Before there were words, before there was even light, there was a pulse. Not a heartbeat, not a bang, but a rhythm, a sacred undulation that echoed through the void like a question before thought. The ancients called it the origin frequency. It is not the first sound. It is the sound before sound, the one that shaped the womb of reality itself. You've felt it before, in the stillness between breaths, in that split second before waking from a dream, when everything is silent, and something in you says, I was here before this. The origin frequency is not something you listen to. It is something you re-become. Legend from the ancient Himalayas tells of monks who trained for decades not to hear the divine sound, but to dissolve into it. Their method? Silence, stillness, and one final step, the surrender of identity. Because the origin frequency can only be felt when you stop trying to be someone and allow yourself to be everything. Let me confess something. The first time I approached this practice, I thought I was ready. I had chanted, I had fasted, I had studied symbols and mantras. But when the frequency came, it shattered me. It didn't arrive as a sound. It arrived as an implosion of silence. A pressure, like being underwater in a vast ocean of nothingness, except that nothingness was vibrating with impossible love. I forgot who I was, and in that forgetting, I remembered what I truly am. I came back changed, not enlightened, not superior, just real. If you are ready to approach the origin frequency, this is not a daily ritual. It is a sacred encounter. Do this only at night, under a dark sky. Sit with your spine aligned, feet touching the bare ground. Place both hands over your lower belly. This is where the origin echoes. Inhale for 5, hold for 10. Exhale slowly through the nose for 15. Repeat this cycle 9 times. Then stop. No mantra, no sound. Just listen. Not with ears, with skin, with breath, with the space behind the heart. If you are attuned, you may feel the ground tremble softly beneath you. Not literally, but vibrationally. You may suddenly recall being in a place made of gold, light, and silence, something older than time. Or you may feel a strange calmness so deep, it's almost unsettling. That is the touch of the origin frequency. Warning: this frequency does not care about your goals. It will not help you manifest a new car or make someone love you. It only aligns you with what you truly are beneath all masks. If you hold on to fear, identity, or expectation, it may not arrive. But if you release even for a breath, it will find you. And once it does, it may never leave. Those who experience the origin frequency report lucid dreams that stretch beyond space and time. A soft ringing in the back of the skull. Sudden tears without emotion. An overwhelming knowing that they have always existed. And a strange sense of reunion, as if a part of themselves has returned after lifetimes of wandering. If you felt the frequency, if something deep, ancient, and wordless stirred inside you, type in the comments. The origin has remembered me. I dissolve into the pulse. And if you are ready to go further, type continue to unlock the 6th door. From here, there is no going back. But what lies ahead was always waiting for you. This isn't a door made of wood or stone. It's not visible. You won't find it in ruins, temples, or books. The 6th door exists in a moment. The moment when time no longer moves in a straight line. You've likely touched it before without knowing. It's that sudden pause in reality when you hear a sentence from a stranger that pierces your chest, when the clock says 11:11 and something within jolts awake, when a childhood memory erupts during a completely unrelated moment. These aren't coincidences. They are echoes of the 6th door calling you. In the ancient Hermetic texts, it was called the gate of the folded moment, a ripple in the now, a wrinkle in your perception where the past, present, and possible future all flash in a single pulse of awareness. The Egyptian priests believed time was not a river, but a spiral, and the sixth door was where two loops intersected, allowing the soul to step sideways. Let me tell you what happened the first time I crossed it. I was in meditation, nothing dramatic, just stillness. And then, the air changed. Not colder, not warmer, just thicker, like walking into a memory that remembered me. Suddenly, I saw myself as a child, but not through memory, through presence. I was both observer and observed, and as I blinked, I became the child, then the old version of myself, then someone I haven't yet become, time-bent, not as fantasy, but as truth unmasked. I emerged shaking, not from fear but from knowing. I am more than linear. To approach the sixth door, this ritual must be performed in absolute stillness. Wait until just before dawn, the space between night and light. Sit with your spine aligned and eyes open, not closed. Light a single flame and place it at eye level, a few feet away. Gaze at the flame not with intensity, but soft, surrender. Breathe in deeply for 6 counts. Hold for 6. Exhale for 6. Do this for 6 cycles. Then stop. Continue gazing. Do not blink. Let the tears come. At some point, the flame may begin to shift. You may feel like you're floating slightly outside your body. You may hear sounds from a memory or from a time not yet lived. Some report seeing images of other lifetimes. Others describe it as time dripping like honey through the cracks of now. Do not react. Do not question. Let it pass through you. You are not leaving this moment. You are stretching it until it becomes wide enough to walk through. What happens after? Time might behave differently. Clocks may slow down around you. You might begin to sense events just before they occur. People may tell you that you always seem to be in the right place at the right time. That's because you are no longer just in time. You are dancing with it. But beware, the sixth door will expose what is false. Lies, attachments, identities built from pain they cannot follow you through. Some will try to cling. Old patterns will scream for attention. Let them fall away. Only the resonant self passes through. If you've seen a ripple, a tear, or a strange echo in the flame, if something whispered a memory you've never lived, type in the comments. I have entered the sixth door. Time has become listening. Let this signal ripple into the field. Type continue to open the seventh seal. What lies beyond is not time. It is frequency unbound. The sages knew it. The alchemists chased it. And only the quietest initiates ever touched it. The seventh seal is not spoken. It is seen in sound and heard in light. That may sound like metaphor. It isn't. This is the threshold where vibration becomes visible, where a chant forms geometry, a breath becomes a ripple of gold, and silence births the light codes of the soul. In ancient Egypt, high initiates in the Heliopolitan priesthood were trained in sacred acoustics. They stood inside sonic chambers where the slightest hum etched sacred patterns in sand and smoke. They didn't call it magic. They called it ma'at, the harmony of vibration and light, the structure of divine order. They understood that true sound carries form, that every spoken truth shapes the space around it, and that when sound reaches a certain purity, it begins to glow. I witnessed it only once, not in a temple, in my own breath. I was chanting a forgotten phrase from the emerald tablets, not for power, not for manifestation, but to remember what language once felt like when it still mattered. Suddenly, my vision blurred, then sharpened. And there it was, a shimmer, like heat off a road, except it pulsed in rhythm, with the syllables vibrating in my chest, and in the shimmer geometries, spinning, shifting, alive. For a split second, I knew what it meant to speak with integrity so total that light itself listens. That is the seventh seal. How to approach this state? You must chant, not to the sky, not to a god, but into the hollow of your body, as if your rib cage is the temple and your breath is the priest. Do this in dim light or candle light. Sit comfortably. Place a mirror before you, not to watch yourself, but to reflect back energy. Close your eyes, breathe deep into the belly. On the exhale, vibrate the sound. Nu Ra Lin. Hold each syllable. Feel it touch your bones. Repeat for 9 minutes. Not more, not less. Then, sit in silence, eyes still closed. Let the after resonance settle. Now open your eyes and gaze into the mirror. Some will see the flicker of light moving around their head. Some will see geometric shadows where none should be. Others will simply feel a pressure in the forehead, the ancient activation of the sight that sees beyond sight. Whatever occurs, know this. You have touched the current where sound transfigures into vision. But caution is vital. The seventh seal amplifies everything. Your truth, your deceit, your fear, your love. Whatever you carry into this practice will be magnified and reflected. This is not for the impure of intent. If you use this state to manipulate, to feed the ego, or to display power, you may find your perception fractured. There are records of initiates in Tibet going blind for weeks, not physically, but energetically, because they glimpsed something too early without readiness. Let your heart be still. Let your intent be clean. This practice is not for power. It is for remembrance. After touching this seal, people report asterisk, increased perception of colors, patterns, and sacred geometry in dreams. Asterisk, words spontaneously forming in the mind like foreign languages. Asterisk, a sense of being watched, not in fear, but in alignment by a greater field of consciousness. And some report feeling as if light has begun to sing to them. This is real. It is not hallucination. It is perception reawakening. If you have seen light stir from within sound, if even a single note bent the veil around your sight, type in the comments. The seal is glowing. I have heard the light within. Let that vibration ripple outward. Type continue to rise into the eighth sphere. Here, sound is no longer sound. It is language before words. The speech of the soul. There are no words here. No symbols. No scripts. The eighth sphere is not a place, but a field, an ancient intelligence that vibrates not through language, but through knowing. It is the realm the ancients whispered about in sleep temples, where oracles drank stillness like wine and returned with truths they could not explain, only transmit. This is the first realm where you no longer interpret vibration. You become it. The Hermetics called this the sphere of pure gnosis. It is where your soul stops mimicking voices outside you and begins to speak in the tone of remembrance. I reached it not by ritual, but by accident, or perhaps by design. It was during a period of silence, 13 days without speech. No written words, no music, only breath, only being. One night, I dreamt I stood on a black plain under a silver sky. No stars, just a quiet hum surrounding me. A being approached, but it had no face, no gender, no voice. Yet, I understood it. Not with thought, with resonance. It transmitted a sentence to me, but not in words. It was a wave that exploded in my chest, and I knew, you are not broken. You are the echo of everything you have ever been. And then I awoke, sobbing, not from pain, from relief. That is the eighth sphere. To enter the vibrational field of pure knowing, this cannot be forced. It can only be invited. 1 hour before sleep, disconnect from all external inputs. No screen, no music, no books, just silence. Lie down in complete darkness. Hands placed over the solar plexus. Let the breath slow to the edge of sleep, but stay conscious. Whisper silently in your mind, I open the field, may the knowing rise. Do not ask a question. Do not expect an answer. Only wait. If the field responds, you may feel asterisk, a soft wave of electricity across the chest. Asterisk, a warm pressure around the crown of the head. Asterisk, a click or tone deep in the ears. Asterisk, an image or sensation that feels like it's older than this life. It may speak to you, or it may only transmit presence. Either way, the soul has entered the field. Caution, this level of vibration may bring grief. Not sadness, but spiritual grief for all the years, lifetimes, and identities that never remembered this frequency. Let it come. Let it burn. It is holy fire. It does not destroy. It reveals. Once the soul begins to speak in frequency, you will feel a silence that no external sound can fill, because the conversation has begun within. Those who remain in contact with this field report, spontaneous intuitive downloads, sudden understanding of patterns in life that once caused confusion, the vanishing of internal voices that used to criticize, a profound urge to create not for success, but for transmission. You may find yourself writing, drawing, singing, or weeping without cause. This is the soul's way of speaking through action, not alphabet. If you have entered this quiet space, if the hum of pure knowing has touched you, even for a breath, type in the comments, "I have entered the field. My soul now speaks without words." And if you feel the stillness still vibrating, type "continue" to rise into the ninth flame. What comes next is not a teaching. It is a burning away of what you are not. The ninth flame does not warm. It sears. This is not the fire of destruction, but of revelation. A flame that does not consume what you are, only what you never were. You do not walk into the ninth flame. It walks into you. In ancient Persia, mystics would speak of the fire that forgets mercy. They didn't mean punishment. They meant truth raw, untamed, absolute. A fire that burned so clean, it left behind only soul ash. In the sacred writings of the Vedas, it was called Agni's gaze, the moment the inner fire looks back at you, and you either flinch or bow. No masks survive here, no personas, not even spiritual ones. The first time I touched this flame, I wasn't ready. It came not during a ritual, but while standing alone at night, after days of silence and surrender. No incense, no chant, only a question whispered from somewhere deeper than thought. Who is feeling this moment? And I looked and found nothing. Not the me who meditates, not the me who seeks, not the me who teaches, just space. And in that space, a fire rose. It had no color, no movement, but it devoured every layer of identity I clung to. And yet, I did not vanish. I remained. What remained was real. If you are prepared to enter the ninth flame, you must surrender, not posture, not pretend, but actually surrender. Here's the ritual. Do it only when you are ready to let something die. Sit alone, preferably at night, in a darkened room. Place a mirror in front of you and a candle behind your back. Not to see yourself, but to feel the flame you cannot look at. Begin to ask, aloud or silently, "What am I not?" Ask it again and again. Let answers come, but question them all. Strip away the layers. Not, "I am a teacher," or "I am lost." Strip the one who claims to be. Keep going. You may weep. You may rage. You may fall into silence. That is the moment the flame enters. Let it burn. Not your body, not your mind, but the echoes of all false selves you've inherited, performed, protected. Warning, this is not a practice of comfort. This flame may leave you feeling hollow, unanchored, raw. You may question everything you once believed. This is the sacred unraveling. If it hurts, let it hurt. If it silences you, let yourself be silent. Do not run, because what emerges from this flame is the unmasked soul. Those who cross through the ninth flame report, a piercing clarity that feels inhuman in precision, emotional numbness, followed by a tidal wave of authentic feeling, spontaneous decisions to leave relationships, jobs, or identities that no longer resonate, a terrifying freedom, the freedom of no longer needing to perform. You will not be the same. You will not even want to be. If the flame has touched you, if you felt yourself dissolve even for a moment, type in the comments, "I have burned. What remains is true." Let the echo of your release ripple through the collective field. Type "continue" to step into the 10th spiral. What's coming is not the end. It's the beginning of creation through energy, of building not from thought, but from essence. You are no longer a seeker. Not now, because once you've passed through the ninth flame, there is no one left to seek, only one who creates. This is the 10th spiral, the sacred technology of becoming. It is where you learn not to ask the world to reflect you, but to resonate yourself so clearly that the world bends to meet your frequency. The ancients understood this. In the ruins of Dendera, in the coils carved along the temple of Hathor, you'll find spirals not as decoration, but as instruction. The spiral is not just a shape, it is a pathway, a pattern followed by galaxies, hurricanes, pine cones, and the flow of manifested thought becoming form. They taught that when your internal frequency follows the spiral, you stop using force and begin using field. I didn't believe this until I saw it. After a year of vibrational practice, sound, silence, flame, I began to feel it. A subtle pressure in the space around me. I thought it was coincidence, until I noticed something impossible. My emotions would change a room. My focused breath would bring birds. My vibration would affect technology. Lights flickering, electronics glitching when I felt too strongly. And then one day, I spoke a word. Not aloud, but inside. And within moments, a person I hadn't seen in years appeared exactly as I remembered them, finishing a sentence I'd heard in my field the night before. Creation had begun, but not from thought, from frequency spiral. To begin the spiral practice, this is not visualization. This is attunement. Sit facing the east, back straight, palms open and facing upward. Visualize a small golden spiral, no larger than your thumb, glowing at the center of your chest. Breathe into it, not imagining feeling the breath entering that spiral. With each exhale, imagine the spiral expanding outward slowly, rhythmically. Now begin to hum any tone, but let it vibrate from the chest outward. Keep going until your body begins to vibrate lightly, almost imperceptibly. Now choose a feeling, not a thought. Not, I want abundance, but the frequency of being supported. Let that frequency flood the spiral. Let it expand outward. Now stop. Wait. And for the next 3 days, watch the world around you. Synchronicities, conversations, unexpected opportunities, shifts in people's behavior. These are not responses. They are resonances. You are now speaking to reality in its native tongue. Important warning. The spiral does not respond to wishes. It responds to clarity. If you spiral from a fractured self, one full of doubt, need, or conflict, you may create chaos. The spiral amplifies. It does not judge. It only obeys vibration. Be clean. Be precise. Be real. Or don't spiral at all. Those who have mastered spiral resonance often report asterisk, sudden mastery of skills they never studied. Asterisk, magnetism people are drawn without understanding why. Asterisk, creation at the speed of clarity, ideas becoming action within hours. Asterisk, a sense that reality is softer, more responsive, more dreamlike. But the greatest gift is this. You no longer chase alignment. You emit it. You become the sun, and the world orbits the light you no longer hide. If you have felt the spiral, if something began to respond to your resonance instead of your effort, type in the comments, I am the spiral, creation flows from my field. Let this be your signature in the living current. Type, continue, to enter the 11th gate. There, we close the circle, and open something even older, a remembering that was never truly forgotten. This is where the journey ends, and begins again, because the 11th gate is not a doorway. It's a return to something ancient, something intimate, something you've never truly left. You were never separate, never disconnected. You only fell asleep inside the field and called the dream your life. But now you remember the sounds, the spirals, the fire, the mirror. Every frequency you touched was always inside you. The 11th gate is known in the most sacred texts as the ring of the real. It is the moment the illusion of becoming dissolves, where you stop chasing evolution, growth, progress, and start radiating what you already are. The Sufis danced this gate with spinning feet. The Taoists flowed it through breath and water. The Buddhists sat in it so long, they disappeared from the physical altogether. But none of them arrived. They remembered, when I stepped through it, nothing happened. No visions, no whispers, no light, just silence. Still, but alive. A peace so wide it held every storm I'd ever known. That's the sign. You don't feel different. You feel whole. No more grasping, no more proving. Just the gentle, immense hum of presence. Like the universe is breathing with you, not around you. If you are ready to return to your origin, do not chant. Do not ritualize. This gate opens only to authentic presence. Sit in your space. Let everything be as it is. Don't clean. Don't adjust. Rest your body in whatever position is natural. No spine alignment. No posture. Just be. Close your eyes and do nothing. Not even meditate. Not even breathe with intent. Let your awareness fall backward like a leaf. If thoughts come, let them float. If feelings rise, let them speak. If silence comes, meet it like a friend you forgot you loved. Stay until the moment arrives where you no longer want anything from this practice. No vision, no result, no transformation. Only then will you feel it. A low, subtle recognition. I have always been this. That is the 11th gate. The circle that was never broken. The sound before your first breath. The light behind your last thought. There is no warning here. No danger. Only purity. But know this. Once you pass through, you will never again be able to play small and believe yourself. You will feel the falseness in fake laughter, hollow pursuits, forced ambition. You will yearn not for success, but for truth. And from that yearning, creation will rise. Without effort, without design, like a lotus blooming in a place no one thought life could reach. If you have returned, if you've tasted the stillness behind all movement, type in the comments, I am whole. I never left. I remember the circle. This is your imprint on the living field. Let the others feel it. Let them remember too. This is the end of the journey, but only in name, because now you are part of the current. Now, the frequency will speak through you. If this journey awakened you, even slightly, subscribe not as an act of following, but as a declaration of field alignment, like not for metrics, but to amplify this signal to others who are ready. Comment not for engagement, but as an energetic signature, a signal, a message that says, I am here, the gate is open, let those who are ready find their way. Share only if the vibration calls you, because this is not content. This is ceremony. This is not performance. This is remembrance. You are now part of the resonance. You are now one of the keepers of the lost vibration. It is no longer lost. It has found you.